Okay, just back doing a little bit more videoing just on these Land Rover 3.9 V8s. This has got the 14 CUX EFI unit in it. What I'm going to do this little clip is just talk a little bit about some of the problems that these vehicles sometimes have just with age, just with parts being used and things like that, get worn out. That can lead to poor idle and also as well high or highish fuel consumption. You're never going to get good fuel consumption with a V8, but anyway, one of the things I want to talk about here is just focus a little bit on the ignition side of it. And all too often when people ask me to have a look at the units, they end up with, you find that they've got faulty distributor caps. 9 times out of 10, if not 10 times out of 10, always the vacuum advanced units have gone. The little diaphragm inside here gets worn, and rotor arms are generally in quite poor condition, or leads are not too good, or the plugs haven't been changed for years, and all these little bits add to the overall inefficiency of the engine running. One of the other things as well is doing the timing on these units. I think the book says that they should be set about 4 degrees, what they call before top dead center, and generally you find when these machines have got a few thousand Ks on them that the timing chains get a little bit slack and worn, and the timing of the vehicle can be out. And what I generally do with them is I just mark them up here with a bit of liquid paper. There's a little 15 nut bolt under here. I clean up the pulley wheel at the bottom, get a stroboscope timing light on it, and I generally set them anywhere between 6 and 12 degrees advance with it, and you generally find they run really quite well from it. So by doing that, you're allowing for any little bit of slack in the timing chain with it, and depending on what octane fuel you're running, generally I'm running 95 in this, and they sit quite nice at 12 degrees advance. You don't get any pinking, but if you do get a little bit of pinking, you can sort of retard it a little bit, and it's quite easy to do. But just to summarize it, it's really important that this unit here is all integral and it's sort of not moving. You get a lot of play in a lot of the caps, and you just keep on top of it. Replacing these units is quite easy. You don't have to take the distributor out, just off with the lid, pull the rotor arm out, a little base plate inside you remove, and there's 2 little screws here and there. Generally what I do is back the distributor, rotate it around, and you can get to these screws quite easy and fit the unit. It takes all of 20 minutes actually. It's not a big job, and they're quite cheap to buy, these. So just to summarize that, it's really important that the distributor side of things is running well, in that you've got a good spark. You can fiddle as much as you want with all the other electronic components feeding around the engine, but the short point is, if you're not getting a good spark to the engine, it's never going to be running well with it. So that's just a little bit about the distributor. One of the other units that can go on these, and depending with the 3.5s and some of the earlier 3.9s as well, is they have what they call an ignition amplifier module fitted to the side of the distributor. Generally I used to get quite hot. Land Rover do a kit that has actually shifted it now to this position here, just near the coil, with a bit of a plate on it for dissipating the heat. I've actually repositioned mine slightly on it just to get it in a more inaccessible place, but the point being, this little amplifier module here can actually fail and cause all sorts of end of troubles with starting. It also can break down and get intermittent faults with it, which has happened to me a few times actually on a couple of the 3.5s, but I must admit, now that they've shifted it here, you can get this conversion kit to move it to this position. It actually, you get less and less trouble with it, but again, it's really easy to get to. A couple of bolts and it picks off, and just sits next to your coil with it. again, just make sure all your leads are nice and tight, all your plugs are on it and it's clean. Anything loose or any intermittent faults are generally really quite difficult to find with it, so you're best off just checking everything out, and it makes it really nice and easy for you to access with it. So that's just a little bit about the distributor, cap, vacuum advance, and also your coil and your ignition amplifier module with it. Again, always good to check just to make sure that it's all fine. So I'll sign out with this one now, and if you need any more information on it, or you want me to break the unit down, give us a shout and I'll do another video on that.